Today we find ourselves at sea, on the Aegean Sea, headed southwest from the port city of Kusadasi, near the ruins of the city of Ephesus. In the distance, we see the Greek island of Samos, the birthplace of the mathematician Pythagoras and the philosopher Epicurus. We are headed toward the Greek island of Patmos and the cave of the Apocalypse, where St. John was said to have received the divine illuminations that led him to write the New Testament book of the Apocalypse, known more usually as the book of Revelation. In Greek mythology, Poseidon was god of the sea, of this sea. He was often depicted in a chariot amidst crashing waves with a trident in his hand. Being here today and seeing what we see, we can understand why sea, land, and sky, along with the gods for each, Poseidon, Zeus, and Uranus, were archetypical for the Greeks. A 7-foot statue of Poseidon, sculptured around 460 BC, retrieved from the bottom of the Aegean in 1926, and now in the National Archaeological Museum in Athens, gives a sense of how the Greeks revered him. A full-sized copy stands in the cavernous entry hall of the General Assembly building of the United Nations in New York. The sculpted Poseidon stands tall, in action and ready for action, a handsome presence worthy of our respect, if not our worship. And yet, for all the grandeur of what they represented, the Greek gods were a complicated lot, either indifferent to human beings or predatory, like Zeus, who had sex with women and at least one man, Ganymede, who became his cupbearer. Poseidon raped Medusa in Athena's temple, and Athena turned her into a monster rather than defending her. These deities will provide us no help on our spiritual journeys. If, in a meditative moment, we wanted to engage with God, having the Aegean as our focal point, what might this expanse of sea, sun, and sky, of grandeur and beauty, have to say to us? Or, to ask the question another way, we might wonder whether St. John took time outside his cave to contemplate the expanse, grandeur, and beauty of this sea, sky, and sun. He was a political exile on Patmos with few human beings around him. Did the austerity of the island diminish his sense of sea, sky, and sun? Or did the sea, the sky, and the sun, and the rugged island hold its own beauty for him? Perhaps this beauty, enlivened by God's grace, inspired his esoteric, mystical portrayal of the Creator God, God's battle with evil, the birth of the miracle child to the human mother, God's victory over evil, and God's welcome to those who had suffered and died unjustly. This book offers us a grand epic spectacle at ultimate levels: God and Lucifer, angels and devils, life and death. And it offers the uplifting message of God's invitation to all humanity. Quote, "I saw the holy city, the new Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God." Unquote. Then St. John quotes the prophet Ezekiel. Quote, "See, the home of God is among mortals. He will dwell with them. They will be his peoples, and God himself will be with them. He will wipe away every tear from their eyes. Death will be no more. Mourning and crying and pain will be no more, for the first things have passed away." End quote. Notice that this Ezekiel text concludes the chapter that begins with the prophecy of the dry bones that God calls back to life. St. John continues, "The city has no need of sun or moon to shine on it, for the glory of God is its light, and its lamp is the Lamb. The nations will walk by its light. The gates will never be shut by day, and there will be no night there." End quote. Somehow, in looking at this sea, the sun and the sky, we are not surprised at St. John's inspiration. And what was his can be ours if we only take the time to look.